new here and happy fall. Welcome to November's Bake With Me. I apologize for my appearance. My hair is absolutely garbage right now, so I had to put a hoodie on, but I made some fall treats for you guys. I'm excited to show you guys how I made these. So over here we have a chocolate pumpkin cake, and then we have apple cinnamon bread, and then we have pumpkin spice muffins, and they all turned out really good. And I didn't really follow the directions of the recipes that I found online, which will all be linked down below. I kind of went by my own method, but they all turned out really good, so I'm really excited to share these with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you guys love them, and if you try them out, please let me know how you liked them in the comments. Yes, a new cover will be up in a few days, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and yeah, let's go right into it.
Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to make is the pumpkin spice muffins, which turned out really good. You're going to need 1 3/4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 cup of canola or vegetable oil, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 1/2 cups of pumpkin puree, 2 large eggs, and a 1/4 cup of milk. Alright, so the first thing I did was I just took a bowl and I mixed the dry ingredients, which are the flour and the spices. And then the next thing I did is I brought out a smaller bowl and I put in the oil, put in both sugars and the milk and the eggs, and I just whisked that all together. Alright, so the next thing I did was add in the pumpkin puree and gave it a quick mix, and I set it aside and brought out the dry ingredients again, and I just combined the wet ingredients with the dry, and I just mixed it all together with a spatula. And once it came together, I just switched out the bowl for a muffin pan, and I just lined it with some cupcake liners, and I just filled them about 3/4. They did rise a little bit, but they didn't rise as much as I thought, so I would say that you can put it in pretty full and it would look perfect like a muffin. Mine were a little bit smaller than I wanted, but they still turned out really good. Alright, and then into the oven it goes at 425 degrees for 5 minutes, and then keeping the muffins in there, you want to reduce the temperature to 350 and bake for another 15 minutes. Mine took about 17 more minutes, and it turned out perfect. I just stuck a toothpick in there to just test it out, and I let them cool, and honestly, these muffins were so soft and so moist, and they were really good. So I highly recommend that you try these out. The next thing we'll be making is the cinnamon apple bread, which turned out really amazing. Honestly, all these fall baking snacks I totally recommend because they turned out absolutely incredible. So for this, you're going to need a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar and 2/3 cup of white sugar, but I ran out of brown sugar and barely had enough white sugar, so I just used whatever was left. 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 cup of butter, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/2 cup of milk, and 1 large apple, which you can choose however big or however small you want to cut it. I pretty much minced mine so I could barely taste it, but yeah, totally up to you. Alright, so the first thing I did was grab my sugar and I mixed my cinnamon and baking soda in there and just gave it a quick mix. Next, I just grabbed my melted butter and I just mixed it with the dry ingredients, added my eggs and my vanilla, and whisked it all together. Alright, then just adding my flour and gently folding it in with a spatula, and adding my milk and just doing one last mix. So once it was all combined, I just grabbed a little loaf pan thing and I lined it with some parchment paper, and I poured in half of the batter in there, and then I took my cut up apples and put half of it in the middle, added the rest into the batter, and then put the rest of the batter on top. Tried to make it all nice, and actually sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon on the top, and into the oven it goes. So just pop it in the oven at 350 for about 50 minutes is what the website said, but mine took about 42. I just kept checking it because I didn't want to burn it, so as long as the toothpick comes out clean, then it'll be okay. But yeah, it tasted really good, super soft, and very nice for the fall time, so I totally recommend making this as well. Okay, so for the last snack I'm going to show you guys today, it is going to be a pumpkin chocolate cake, which was absolutely amazing. So you're going to need 1.5 cups of flour, 2/3 cup of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, half teaspoon of salt, half cup of buttermilk, but I just used regular milk, 1 cup of canned pumpkin, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3/4 cups of butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 3 large eggs, and 1 egg yolk. Okay, so the first thing I did was just mix my dry ingredients, and then I grabbed my milk in the little measuring cup and I added my vanilla extract and pumpkin puree and just mixed it up until it was all combined. Okay, so next I'm just grabbing another bowl and just melting my butter, adding in my sugar and just whisking that with a electric mixer. And then I'm just gonna add 1 egg yolk at a time and just mixing in between until everything is all well combined. So you just want to add your dry ingredients in thirds. So here I'm just adding in 1/3 of my cocoa powder mixture, and then I'm going to grab my pumpkin puree and put in half of that, put in another 1/3 of the cocoa mixture, put in the last half of the pumpkin puree, and then finishing again with the cocoa mixture. This creates a perfect cake, bouncy, squishy, soft texture. So that's what the website recommended, so that's what I did, and it turned out great. Honestly, the texture was amazing, so I highly recommend doing this step. And once that's nicely combined, you just want to grab a cake pan, and I'm just lining it with some parchment paper, and then it just goes into the oven at 350 for about 35 minutes. Mine took about 30 minutes, but yeah, again, just do the toothpick test, and if it comes out clean, then you're good to go. And honestly, this cake was really fluffy and soft, and you could barely taste the pumpkin. It was really chocolatey, but it was good nonetheless, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, you guys, that pretty much wraps up my baking video for fall. I hope you like it. I'm already planning for my Christmas baking, so I'm super excited for you guys to see that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you very soon with a new cover. Bye!